Hello friends, welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to talk about delta in order flow, aka footprint charts. So delta is nothing but the difference between market buy orders and the market sell orders. So we are going to first set up our charts with primarily delta being shown on every axis or every spot that is possible, so as to enable us to find trades, to find areas of interest, zones of interest, which can help us in finding good intraday opportunities and scalping opportunities. So before we move forward, I just wanted to tell you guys the platform that I'm using here is called Quantower. We have done one video before on this, so if you want to try out this platform, you can have a free 5-day trial and explore this platform. The link is in the description. So moving ahead, this is a basic 5-minute chart that I have set up here. So there's nothing too fancy about this one as of now. And we have the volume bars here and the basic 5-minute candlestick bars. So we're going to start with the first step, that is setting up a custom profile. A cluster profile. That is like we discussed. This panel here is all about volume on Quantower. So we go to the leftmost part over here that is called cluster. So this is nothing but setting up a footprint and order flow charts. So for this one, since we're going to primarily be focusing only on delta and how powerful this particular small thing even delta can be, we just find out. So we go to double, we click this enable, and we go here on the left side we'll set up delta, and on the right side we'll set up volume. Okay, so and the coloring by volume is fine. Let us make this as histogram. Okay, so let's expand and see how our chart looks as of now, and we'll go into the settings, not to worry, and see what we have set up here. Okay, so over here, like you can see, we've set it up, and this looks a bit clustered. It again depends on person to person. What I like to see is the levels that I'm trading or I am taking my trades off need to be a little more, distinctive. That is, we need to adjust the tick size. So you see in a 5-minute bar there are only 3 or 4 stacks of volumes or delta that we have set up here. So I like it to be a little more expansive, and so that I can make out what is happening within the bar even more. So what I do is, the first step I do is I increase the custom size over here, and let's see what happens. And the other thing that we need to do is, when we go to the cluster chart, you need to disable this. Again, it depends from person to person. What this particular setting does is that when you expand and contract, it adjusts automatically. So even though the tick size was really less 5, but it's set on aggregate profiles on chart price scaling. So what it does is it makes it bigger. So it changes automatically when you expand and contract the chart on the price scale. So I don't want that. I just want it to be fixed and the way I like it. So we'll not change much over here. And as we have set up, the left side is delta, so the delta colors are the basic colors. And one more thing that I want to do here is the value area view. You can see I just want it to be with borders so that I can see everything clearly. And let's go to the delta colors. There is left and right, and now let's change this as well so that we can see it a little more suited to our eyes, or you can say we need to spot everything quite clearly. So you need to, people think that setting up colors is nothing fancy. It's all about being fancy, but the point is that when you set up colors that suit your eyes or that suit you, and when you're taking trades of them, it's quite easy to chunk information that is, especially in order flow charts, that is flowing at a very rapid rate. So you need to be able to grasp that information fastly, analyze it, and at the same time execute your orders in time. Okay, so this is the now I'll just expand it, and this is a double layered chart on the cluster setting that we've just put it out here. So one more thing that we're going to change over here in the settings panel is going to be the color of the volume over here. Okay, again, whatever suits you, but so that we can make out what we are trying to make out here. Okay, so this is what we have done, and we don't want the back is fine, we don't want the text, and we don't want any border over here, so we just go and do 0. Okay, and this is it. Now what I also want is the color over here to be very, very dim. I just want to be, let's make it a little more bright. Okay, that is enough. Okay, so on the right side you can see, let's make it 40 again, so that so on the right side, wherever the POC is as per the volume, I can see over here with the yellow shade coming out, and on the left side also, wherever the POC for the delta is, we can see a little bit of yellowish tinge coming on blue. So that means this particular place had a positive delta, and the POC for delta is at this particular place. So that is also of significance. So we just go into how even the minutest of details that come out with the delta chart can be of so much use. Okay, the second thing we do is we go ahead and go to the settings here and go to the volume bars, and what I don't want is any type of font showing up, so I'll just go and do 0 over here and set it up. So I don't want to see the font here. I will just go ahead and make it 20% and make it like this. Okay, so the volume will be coming here, and now the other part is what we have done is we've set up delta on each bar. Okay, now we want delta over here and delta on this panel on the right hand side also, so that we can see delta in as many dimensions as we can, so as to gather the best information and best decisions, which will help us in making the best decisions at that time. So the next step we go, what we do is we go to the time histogram and we select delta over here. I'm sorry, let's select cumulative delta over here and enable this. Okay, so this setting, if you see, what I've done is I've gone here and selected the visual mode as mirror. If you do a standard, it will just go like this. I want it to be a mirror, that is whenever it is going negative, the cumulative delta I can see like this, and whenever it turns positive, even that I can see. I'll just show you in a minute. Okay, so this is one thing that we have done. Then we go next and say time statistics, and I don't want all this junk. Okay, I will enable. I mean, it's not junk for me. I don't, at this point I don't need it, so I'll just select volume and I will select delta, and I will also select let's say cumulative delta. Okay, I'll go to the settings again. The volume color, whenever it is really high, I want it to show up in blue, so I can see it in a glance. For example, this bar had a lot of volume, so I can see it, the bars that have volume with the distinctly with the color. Okay, similarly the delta, I would like it to be again this blue with 100% of opacity, so that I can make out immediately where the delta values are high. Okay, so, and there you go. Okay, now we have set up our delta and time statistics on the on this time scale. We've set up the cumulative delta bar. Okay, and now the last part is setting up a delta panel on the right hand side. So what we do, we go to the right profile, we go to the full chart range. So what this means is that let us get it back, I'm sorry, let it be 100. Okay, and let us go to the right profile, let us enable this, and let us choose this as again delta, and we get the values here. So the first one is the buy value, so same thing, and the right one is the sell value, which will keep as this. Okay, so you can see the delta coming up on the right side. Okay, what we'll do, one more thing that we can do is we can make this a little bit more, so that it helps us in I don't want to see the POC, and I want to see nothing of the value area as such. Okay, so this is what we've got, and let's go here and make it a little lighter. Okay, 70, I'm sorry, 70 over here and 70 over here. Okay, so this is our chart. Now comes the interesting part. Now let's jump into the trades that we have taken. Other thing that we need to take out is over from here. It is from the time histogram that we have set, and we don't want the text over here to show up, so we will go here and do 0. Okay, and this is our chart. Okay, so now this chart is of the 28th of April, that is the last trading day we had. Now we'll go one by one and see how beautifully even delta can help us. So it, at one glance over here, what you see here is you can see the places where there was a good delta, I mean a sell delta impact. So I will just demonstrate. This place, as you see, is all full of negative delta. So as soon, the first thing about this panel is it shows you at which price levels the delta effect of the sellers was really, I mean, they were really aggressive. So as soon as the market goes above this, we know these guys are in real deep water. So if it sustains, or even if it goes above this, we can take really fantastic trades, because these guys are going to come out as well. So we'll go into that a little while later. So let's start one by one with what happened during the day. Okay, so the first thing, the market opens and it drops down. Now the first place of interest that is to us is, look at the second bar, which has a humongous amount of delta. Okay, and it is in fact, if you compare, you will come to know that it is a good number to have, the second bar of the day, even though the volume is lesser, but this is primarily people selling. So what could be the reason is not of concern. It could be anything. The thing opens gap up, it's touching 18,000, so people are booking profit. All that is fine. What we want to see is the sellers that are coming in here are they going to cause the selling to continue, so that we can take a trade accordingly. Okay, are they going to be aggressive enough for us to be able to decide, is what we need to know. So the first candle over here, you see it's a mixed candle with a lot of deltas and a lot of spots where people are giving up. Okay, so this is one spot, this is one spot, this is one spot. Wherever you see really high delta followed by, accompanied with high volume. So this is one spot, which is the POC for the volume, where there is high delta. Okay, so this is one spot where there is high volume, but the delta isn't as much. So you can see clearly where the sellers were aggressive. Now we can't see all this. Okay, at this point what we see is you can see the delta, after such a big fall, the delta has gone down, the volume has gone down. At this point, I'm going to just mark this over here. Okay, we see a good amount of volumes being clustered, along with primarily being market sellers. Now we know that if these guys are tested a little bit, they will just give in. So this is, if I want to take a buy trade, I do not want to take a buy trade if this level doesn't hold. Okay, and at even only after 10 minutes of activity, where do we consider taking a buy trade? If we just see these 3 bars, rather 15 minutes, the first place I would consider taking a buy trade is if, look at these volumes and look at the delta over here as well. So if this is breached, I take a buy trade. Now I'm just waiting after 15 minutes. I will take a buy trade only if I see beyond this delta cluster the price move away from this delta cluster. So I am just holding and waiting. On the other hand, what do I do? Where do I take a sell trade if this area fails? That means these traders are aggressive. Now when I'm saying I take a buy trade, I take a sell trade after this point breaks, there is a caveat in that. I want to see how far does the price go after reacting from here. For example, over here it reacts very aggressively and goes up. Okay, so you see another cluster here where there's a fight. There is no clear winner here, but there is a fight. Where do we see that the sellers have have dominated these places? You see there's a delta over here, and there's another cluster that forms here. Okay, this one. So I want to see if I'm going to take a bias or position myself somewhere. This is almost 50% of the two reference zones that we have marked. Okay, so if I want to take a buy trade or be biased on the buy side, I want to first see this hold, and then I want this to be taken out. Okay, we move ahead. What eventually happens is it breaks. Okay, so when it breaks somewhere down here, you can always take a sell trade, but again you have to be ready, the stop loss being again only this much. Okay, so you take a trade somewhere close to 883 or whenever this breaks, and the stop loss is 20 points. So this is if you're scalping, this is a really high stop loss. If you're not, if you're when you're scalping, you can have your stop loss place somewhere here below, above this point of control of this bar, where you see a negative delta and this cluster, volume cluster, failing, and it goes down. Okay, now immediately you see within 2 bars, if you will just contract this, you see the volume, I mean the cumulative delta is the lowest over here. You can see the values also over there. And let us do one more thing. We can make this black so that we can see it even more clearly. And the volume, okay, we do not have the option over here. Okay, it doesn't matter. So we can see that the cumulative delta is the lowest at this point. Okay, but the bar, what it does is, after such a hostile move, the delta is negative, and look at the change in delta. It's from minus 1600 to minus 583, and the bar closes on top, I mean blue. This is your first indication that if this place, you can see the delta on the right hand side of the panel, if this thing is holding, we are in trouble with our sell positions. Okay, so now the first step, if we have to change our bias, if our stop loss hits, it's fine. The first step where we change our bias is if this holds, and this step, first step that we said, if this is taken out, let us do one more thing. We'll go to the settings over here, and we'll make it right trace, so it's extended like this. Okay, so you can do that. Now as soon as we see this area being taken out so easily and convincingly, and you can see, so these sellers over here, I will just mark these sellers. Okay, these sellers over here and these sellers over here. Okay, I will mark them over here as well. These sellers over here, they are now in trouble as soon as the price goes above this zone. Now this is a very, very good trade over here. When it breaks this, so all these sellers are in thick water now, and these sellers have clearly been absorbed. Now this is the point when this area is tested, it goes above and comes back here. Anywhere over here is a good point to take a buy trade with just a stop loss anywhere in this zone, which is very less. And obviously what we see is it breaks, and we'll just extend these values as well, so that we can see the context that we have been building all along, how useful it can be. Okay, and let's go here and right ray. Okay, so we see it breaks, and in one shot it breaks our first zone where we said the sellers are going to come with so much of ease. Look at the positive delta coming in over here. Okay, it's with so much of ease, it takes out everybody and it moves ahead. So when you have taken a trade over here, for example, you know the first step where you're going to face resistance is there. It does face a little bit of resistance, but the sellers are no more there. They're not aggressive, or rather the buyers are so aggressive, they take out everybody in just, I mean, so easily. And we move forward, and you see this part. This will now act as a resistance. The buyers, the sellers that were there, they've been taken out clearly, and it acts as a resistance. Again, another very good trade is this one. When the price comes back again, tests its zone so many times, is not able to take out. So again, this is your entry point somewhere here, or even here you can take with a stop loss below this zone that we have marked, and the price continues. So we move ahead, and in similar fashion we keep marking our zones. On the right side you can see very clearly the places where you have seen significant, or the prices exactly where you see significant amount of delta, or the market sell orders and the market buy orders. Now at about, you see at about 1430, the same level from the morning is tested again. We've done nothing, we just used delta over here and seen what of how significant this simple indicator can be. Okay, and it moves, takes a support of this place again and moves ahead. So now if for example you're coming on Tuesday, which is the next trading day, this can be of help even on the next trading day. The first place that you consider selling, or you feel that all these buyers will get trapped, is when this price breaks any time during the forthcoming sessions. Okay, so this is the first area that we need to be breached so as to be confident in a sell trade. It doesn't mean we can't find a sell trade here, we can surely. Let's see if we can see something like that. So where is the area that we see a considerable amount of buyers? Okay, this volume is humongous, as you see, 5927. so again you can see these levels, 1891, this, I will just mark this zone. So this needs to hold for a further continuation on Tuesday if it is to happen. This zone is a breakout zone, and again you see a good amount of delta being formed over here, this zone. Just a minute. Okay, this zone. So these zones need to hold for us to initiate any kind of pullback trade or a buy trade against. For example, if the prices the market auctions back in this region, we can expect a bounce here whenever it happens. If it happens during the open, if it opens gap up, just too bad. If it opens gap down, on the other hand, we can use these reference levels, as in if the market opens in the first 5-minute candle, goes up till here and comes down, then what we do is, when this point breaks, we take a sell trade towards the downside. If it holds and hovers around here and continues, again it is an indication of a buy trade. That means these buyers are still in play, they are going to defend their position to every extent possible. And if this breaks the sell trade, the first step where we're going to find some support is this that we have marked. So this is about 55-30 points you can get if this zone breaks. If it doesn't, it goes up, and we see how strong the buyers were. The other thing that you need to notice is this up move happened at 1500. So always suspect moves that happen after 1445, 1430, rather 1445, 1500. We don't know how strong these buyers are. They didn't turn up the whole day, although the market was trending really upwards toward the whole day. But the point is, these guys came just during the end of the session, before a weekend, before a 3-day holiday. So we do not know how strong these are. On the other hand, we also do not know whether they are weak. So we can't presume anything. We're just going to wait for these levels and see how the market auctions at these levels. And as I said, if it gaps up, this is a good place to take a trade off for a long. If this breaks or market gaps down, this is a good place to take a short for a quick 30 points till this zone. So I hope this video regarding delta was of some use to you. Until next time, bye bye.